video recording. Now it's just down to this. It's audio. There it is. Sweet. All right, here we go in 3. What? Wrong tab. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And so, my friends, it is with great pride that we dedicate this outstanding contribution to the solution of our ever-increasing energy needs.
That's what makes it so popular.
Those bastards are turning back. This is the morning stream.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning stream. It's TMS for Thursday, March 17th, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Happy, what is it? St. Patrick's Day, right?
It was like, yeah, I thought for a second you were going to like make some, something up like Susan St. Patrick's Day or something like that, right?
Nope,
like,
just the good old-fashioned Irish doing Irish things.
Yeah.
Drinking themselves under the table, doing whatever they do, I guess.
Yeah, got up this morning, showered, went to the closet, said, well, what am I going to wear today? Oh, there's only one thing I could possibly wear today, and it's my Ireland shirt, which has little shamrocks on it. Yeah, it's for the Irish team there.
I got very few green things, so I wore this.
I know,
Mario Kart
I do
shirt.
too. Yeah.
So on here we got Mario, and his brother is green, so it's good enough for me.
Is that so? It's just little tiny Luigi on there.
He's not even on there.
Green?
He's not even on there. It's just like it's just Mario on a cart, and his brother happens to wear green clothes. Is as close as I could get.
Gotcha. So are you worried about getting pinched? I mean, that's the thing. This is the day of the pinchings.
No, it makes you feel alive when you get pinched. I'm not worried. Bring it on, I say. That's what I say.
Yes.
Claire, be careful out there. We understand they shut all your streets down. So.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, but I thought about having Lucky Charms. I passed. Not really into milk these days. What else? There's no other way to really celebrate it here. Oh, Kim might make some the corned beef stuff.
Yeah, we did that last night. The corned beef and cabbage in the Instant Pot. Oh, so good. And the cabbage wasn't all like flimsy and wilty. It kind of felt like it was a little bit blanched, like it was still had a little bit of a tooth to it, little crispness to it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
That's what you want. You want that weird space between firm and mushy. There's a perfect place for it, but it's not.
Between uncooked and overcooked.
Yeah. That is exactly right. Well, that's good. That sounds really good. I mean, we're probably going to do that tonight. It's been a little busy around here. We've had family in town all week. We've got some more happening next week. It's just a little nutty, but I will say this. Good for the soul is time well spent with a nephew. And I just wanted to share this real quick. So my nephew, Peter, the youngest of my sister's kids, is a very interesting kid. He is one of the most unique kids I've ever met in personality. He's got crazy long hair. He's got more energy than any kid I've ever seen. He's really smart, like just a crazy cool kid. And they were here last night.
Cool. And
I'm like, hey, dude, you want to play some video games? Oh, yeah. Because his brothers are off at the Jazz game they beat the Bulls last night. And all I would say to that was, where were you in 97? What was going on there?
Yeah.
That's because Michael Jordan was there. Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of a big difference.
Bulls
then, Bulls now.
I still hold a very dark grudge about those years. But anyways, so he wanted to start with something old, so we played Joust on the not Evercade. What's it called? The little short arcade machine, whatever that's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
We played that for a while, and he seemed flummoxed by the old ways. You know. It seemed like a really ancient artifact to him, which I guess it is.
Sure. Wow, but he was like wanting to do some retro stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was into that, so we played that a little bit. Then we played Rampage. He could not make heads or tails of Rampage. Just could not figure it out. So then we thought, you know what?
That's like the easiest game, right? Because it's just like climb buildings, destroy buildings, eat people, stomp on cars.
Exactly. So then we thought, well, why don't we move to a modern console? Let's go over to the Series X over here and see what we got. So we fired up this game called that I really like called Bombslinger. It was a little discovery I made while we were doing our coverage of Bomberman.
Bomberman? Mm-hmm.
And it's very similar to that, except it's set in the Old West. It's got this cool pixely style. You're this grungy old cowboy who's an expert in bombs, but basically it's Bomberman. Just kind of a reimagining of Bomberman by this small indie team. It's a very good game and super cheap. It's like $10 and you can get it anywhere. So we fired that up and proceeded to have the most wacky hour and a half of game time I've had in a very long time. I recommend finding some 10, 11-year-old nephew.
Go to the grocery store, the mall, wherever. Find a child.
Yeah, preferably one you're related to if you can swing it, okay? That'd be the best. Otherwise, people kind of frown on this. But anyway, it was so much fun and so much laughter, and he was like jumping. I don't know how they have a couch at their house. It's got to be destroyed by now. We have to ask Wendy about that because he just is freaking out, so excited. It was so much fun. I needed this so bad.
Oh, good.
Because when you game with adults all the time, you forget what it's like to have just like this wide-eyed 10-year-old like thing. And he didn't want to stop. And I'm like, well, your mom's coming, bud. You got to go. And it was like, kind of getting late. It was like 10 o'clock and late for him anyway. And, he had to get out of here. But I recommend it. It was great. Really good time.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Wow,
yeah,
cool.
It was really fun. Also, that game is great, and people should check it out. It's called Bombslinger.
Bombslinger. I like it.
Yeah, and there's a whole single-player mode where you're kind of like this pissed-off dude getting revenge for a gang that killed your wife. So you go back to your old dirty cowboy ways where you used to put bombs everywhere, and it's actually pretty.
It is available on the Swetch.
Yeah, it's on the Swetch.
It's on Steam, of course. Is it what kind of platform compatibility? Windows. So you got Windows or Switch is your choice.
Well, Xbox, PS3 as well, or PS3.
Xbox One. Oh, it says Macintosh. So the Macintosh version must not be.
It's probably
accessible via Steam.
It might not be. I wouldn't. Maybe Steam. Yes, ma'am. What do you need? Oh, you came to pinch me? Carter pinched me.
Thank you, Carter.
Gosh dang it. Are you
She was in
green?
the chat room, and somebody suggested.
She's top to bottom green right here. All
yeah,
right.
Well, she's smart.
The rest of my family takes this stuff seriously, and they all think you're some kind of hero in the chat. Yeah, I know they do. They're a real forceful bunch. Those guys.
Exactly.
Anyway, hey Brian,
Cool.
what's going on today?
Yeah.
You doing anything fun? Anything cool?
Well, so as I mentioned last night, we did our corned beef and cabbage. We were going to do it tonight, but I decided I still have let me think here. I've done about 10 rides, about 9 rides. I guess I still have about 16 to do to get my 25 ride quota in before Sunday for Lyft.
Yeah. And
really, I mean, what better night to drive than on St. Patrick's night, right? So like you've got all these, I'm going up to Boulder for sure. And gonna just basically take college students to drown nights wherever they tend to be.
They call them drown nights? What's that?
Drown nights? Well, that's what we used to call them when I was in college. It's like just drown yourself in beer is what the terminology was for.
I gotcha. I assume the college kids today, this would be a big day for them, right?
This is probably a big day for them, especially this time because last year lockdowns. I don't think. I think Boulder, the mall was kind of shut down with as far as stuff like that. And then we were just getting into COVID the year before, so everyone was kind of on high alert and saying, "Hey, stay out of bars, don't group in masses, wear masks, all that sort of thing." So I think these kids are kind of ready to cut loose. So I'm doing the take them to the bars times, not the pick them up from the bars times.
No,
because I was going to start drinking at like 3 p.m. and want to go home at 6.
Yeah. They're not. I mean, unless they're literally Irish people, and that stereotype is true, then you're probably okay. Right. But do you think there's any percentage chance somebody yaks in your car? Like it definitely goes up, right?
There's always a percentage. I mean, there's always a chance, Scott.
Yeah. It just feels like percentage-wise, it's higher tonight than it would be normally, I think.
It is definitely higher tonight, and I think that is why I'm stopping early. Yeah, there's still a chance that somebody's going to go drinking all day and want to come home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and Ralph all over the back seat. But I've got Scotch Guard. I've got the seats sprayed down, and I've even went and picked up those little, they're like little barf bags, but you can kind of put them over. They have a plastic ring.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can put them over as opposed to like holding a a paper barf sack.
Yeah. I saw those on the last flight I took, I think, had the rings.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good way
That's
to
where
do
I stole them. That's actually where I stole them from, is from planes.
Right. I think that was the flight where the Chinese student group, one of them started yakking in the middle of the flight. Oh, no. That was my Mexico flight. Never mind. But it seems like they had a ring one. And that's good. You want a ring one? Get the ring one.
Yeah, you get that closure. You get you get the seal, as much of a seal as you can possibly get.
Yeah, everyone needs closure, I say.
Yeah, there's no. Fortunately, there's no parades or anything up in Boulder, so it's still technically a school day. So for the most part, the students are going to be still going to class and stuff. And
nice.
We'll see what it's like. But I'm hoping for some good stories for next week. Since we're doing play date tomorrow, I'm going to save my stories. Even if they're good stories, I'm not going to waste them during play date. I'm going to make sure that they're part of the show.
Oh yeah, don't spill that popcorn in that lobby. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So normally, let me ask you this. Normally, if you weren't driving tonight, this would be a night over at Crazy Neighbors while you guys watch Dave go crazy?
You know what? Things have really mellowed out over there. Like, I don't know if they were visited by 3 ghosts in the middle of the night at some point and said, "You must stop your wild ways and quit your drinking."
Yeah.
Because they have been a little bah humbug about the party nights and stuff lately. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Crazy Neighbors. I will say this though: we went to the Mammoth game this last Friday night, and it was really just Crazy Neighbor and me. And we did kind of go a little nuts downtown. We put away a whole, maybe cover your ears, Scott. We put away a ton of oysters. Even had one. Oh, dude, this one was a beaut. This one had, it was an oyster covered with 2 kinds of tobacco and salmon roe. So like 3 kinds of fish eggs, a raw quail egg, and scooped out innards of a sea urchin.
That sounds horrendous.
It was like a party in my mouth because it's all one bite. You can't nibble on that. You basically just have to say the whole thing's happening all at once.
Is it a raw boogery one or a cooked one?
Oh no, everything was uncooked. It was a raw boogery one.
Okay. Yeah. So down goes the boogery one.
Down goes the booger covered with more slimy stuff and a slimy thing on top of that. It was freaking delicious. It was
now, let me ask this: if it's just a single shell, or is it like a whole plate of them? Okay.
No. That was just a single shell. That was kind of a little bit of a splurge. That was a $13 one bite oyster with all that stuff on there.
That was my next question. I just wondered what that goes for. It must be a real specialty.
$13 called the honeymoon oyster, and
the honeymoon oyster? Oh.
It's called the honeymoon oyster. It's like their preparation is called the honeymoon oyster. I put a photo of it up on Twitter, and it's just gorgeous. But then we had some mussels. Those were cooked, obviously, and some octopus and some what was it? Crab, freshwater crab, or not freshwater crab, but like steamed crab and stuff.
Let's see here. I'm just taking a look at your
you
picture.
Finding it there?
I didn't see it. Oh, look at that thing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, well, I won't deny it looks good.
It's a beautiful piece of food. Even if you don't like any of the ingredients that make it, it is a beautiful...
Yeah. It's not ugly... I can't get it to load right. It's not ugly cuisine.
No, but I'll say this. That quail egg on top looks angry because of the chive placement.
Look at that. He's like, brr, what is it? Oh, I'm on top of another booger again.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, they're not happy about it.
I was comfortable in my shell. Why'd you have to crack me open?
So they always serve it in ice. I guess I knew that because I've had oysters, but I forgot. It's been so long.
On a half shell.
The only time.
So we did that and then went to the Mammoth game, but we did... there was a lot of drinking, and I'm worried about this weekend because tomorrow night there's another Mammoth game, and his nephew and I guess it'd be brother-in-law and nephew are in town. No, I take that back. Nephew and brother are in town, and he's gonna want to like really rip it up with them before the game. So we got extra tickets for the game tomorrow night. He's going to want to tear up the town and really show them, oh, this is how we do it, Denver style.
That's right. That's why things have calmed down over there. He's saving up.
He's saving up. Yeah. Basically, it is. It is like let's bottle everything up so you can just explode.
That's fantastic.
When it comes to doing
all right. Well, I hope they're good and that she still likes yacht rock.
I'm really glad we're not recording Film Sack Saturday morning because I'm just worried that.
Oh yeah, you'll be pretty bent out of shape. Possibly. Yeah. Whatever. I think you hold your liquor pretty well. It's been my experience.
I do. I know when to stop. I mean, there's even part of me that's saying, maybe I'll be designated driver tonight so we can save money on an Uber. But I know that won't go over very well.
Sure.
I'll get the whole everything. The whole night will be, oh, look, hey, Brian, how's that vagina treating you? You thirsty over there? Your Diet Coke, you all right? Yeah.
How's that vagina treating you?
That is where he goes. That's absolutely where he goes.
Freaking Dave, man.
Yes.
All right. Well, speaking of nothing like that, let's
speaking of
something that's completely unrelated to that, let's do this.
Yes.
Oh, look who it is returning after I hope a restful and fun vacation. It's Red Fraggle herself, Amy Robinson. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Hello.
Good. Are you all recovered and well and everything's fine? I mean, recovered as much as you can be from a fun vacation. You're probably a little pooped.
Oh my gosh. So I was saying in Discord earlier, I am so ready for TMS Vegas now because I have nerd culture withdrawal.
Oh.
Because it was so much fun. I am paying for it a good bit because I don't know if you've seen, Brian has met me and some people have seen pictures of me and whatnot. I am as pasty as you get. I'm all the way on the
you
white
sizzle
side of white. Yeah.
When you go out in the sunlight, you can hear you sizzle.
Exactly. I'm in the Mayo Mafia, and so I did not, and I blame my sunscreen honestly because I've put different stuff on my face, and I did not get burned on my face.
Oh,
But
good.
I think the stuff that I used on my body was just crappy.
Was it the spray stuff?
Yes, and I will not make that mistake again.
I know you've got to go thicker with the sunscreen spray than you think you need to, and then you're supposed to rub it in, which is great. Then why am I getting the spray stuff if I still have to rub it in?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just get a damn tube and do it the old-fashioned way. I agree. That stuff never works for me. The spray is zero quality for me.
You know what I wish that they had? You know how people, I have never done this, but you know how when people go for a spray tan or whatever,
Yes, I was
and
just about
you
to
just
say this.
walk into a shower stall and there's sprays everywhere and you just hold out your arms and get painted with it
a little cover thing over your eyes and mouth and stuff, or just it doesn't go that high. Yeah, right. Just repurpose some of these old metal detectors from TSA. Whenever they retire a metal detector, just install some little spray mounted SPF 60 in there and just have you walk through it.
I want to be dipped in a vat, like a big vat, and you drop me down, you hold my arms with straps, just put me in there naked and dip me in there and then pull me out with all that white goop on, and then I'm ready for Mexico again. Let's go.
Gotcha, because you like to stand like Josh Brolin, pants off, dance off kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
right?
hell yeah, yeah. Look, when in Mexico, we all have our own dance to make. If you know what I'm saying. Anyway,
that reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where they go to the beach and Marge just cakes Maggie. She's completely covered in it, and then Lisa says, "I think she needs a diaper change," and Marge goes, "Well, it ain't happening today."
That is a good one. I haven't seen that episode in a long time.
No, but that's an excellent Marge impersonation.
Yeah, that was really
well
good.
Done.
Jeez,
Thank you. That's the one line. You know how you guys have one line that leads you into doing an impression? That's my Marge Simpson line. If I do that one, I can.
It's pretty good. She's it's like Julie Kavner herself is on the show with us today. But I know for a fact it's not. It's Amy because she is part of the Read This segment and brought something to read. Do you want me to play this clip first? Do you want to explain it? How do you want to do this here today?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you a little bit of intro. So this was was an audiobook that we were actually listening to on our way down because we drove because we're in Atlanta, so it's like right on the cusp of where it's worth it to fly,
Sure.
So we drove down to Fort Lauderdale for our cruise, and so we listened to an audiobook on the way, and this was it.
Oh, very nice. All right, let's play a piece of that.
I consider asking the Connecticut couple if they had ever run into Jack Parr, who I
love her. All right, sorry, I'll keep going. I love her, though. I'm so excited that it's who it is.
heard had retired near where they live, but I look like I was born after Parr quit hosting The Tonight Show, because I was, and so I'd have to explain how much I like watching tapes of old programs at the Museum of Television and Radio, and I don't want to get too personal. It seems that all three of them attended a Boston Pops concert at Tanglewood the previous evening, and they chat about the conductor. This, I think, is my in. I, too, enjoy being entertained. Relieved to have anything to say, I pipe up. I went to the Berkshire Theater Festival last night. Oh, did you see Peter Pan? The woman asked. No, I say. Assassins. What's that? Wonders the Englishman. To make up for the fact that I've been clammed up and moping, I speak too fast, merrily chirping, "It's a Stephen Sondheim musical in which a bunch of presidential assassins and would-be assassins sing songs about how much better their lives would be if they could gun down a president." "Oh," remarks Mr. Connecticut. "How was it?" "Oh my God," I gush. "Even though the actors were mostly college kids, I thought it was great. The orange-haired guy who played the man who wanted to fly a plane into Nixon was hilarious. And I found myself strangely smitten with John Wilkes Booth. Every time he looked in my direction, I could feel myself blush." Apparently, talking about going to the Museum of Television and Radio is too personal, but I seem to have no problem revealing my crush on the man who murdered Lincoln.
All right, so that's Sarah Vowell, right? I love her.
It is Sarah Vowell, yes.
Yeah.
And there are some people in the chat room who have spotted, yes, she was from The Incredibles, but she's in fact Violet Incredible.
She is.
And
right.
You know what's funny is she plays. So her name in the show is Violet Parr, and she was just talking about Jack Parr, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. No, she's great. I just love her voice. She was my introduction to her was like some probably This American Life episodes or something, because she did a ton of that for a while, and I think she still does a bunch of that. But yeah, most people know her, from that voice on The Incredibles, Incredibles 2. Pretty cool. So what's the book? What's she doing? I assume this is some kind of autobiographical thing or something.
Sort of. So this book is called Assassination Vacation. And it is kind of about her little adventures to go visit historical places that are significant to presidential assassins. And it's as bizarre as it sounds, but yeah. It's got just like a perfect mixture of kind of her being autobiographical about how kind of quirky and weird she is, but also like there's a fair amount of history in there and like interesting fun facts about like there's a whole big section about John Wilkes Booth and like the doctor who treated him and stuff and whether he was in on it or not, and all kinds of amazing history stuff. So it's a really, really good sort of soft historical book, I guess you would say, because it's like there's just enough quirkiness in there to where it doesn't feel like you're listening to a history lecture.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really cool. I picked it because it was like, oh, I went on vacation, so I'll pick this book that has the word vacation in it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? No, she's great. There's I wish I could remember the name of the segment. There's a really, really awesome one of my favorite segments on This American Life ever that she produced and did. It may have been a whole episode, and I cannot remember much about it other than I loved it, and I'd love to get my hands on it again, and I'll bet Captain Kipper or somebody in our chat will track down that episode for me, because, man, that was good stuff. And when she got the job for The Incredibles, I was so stoked, because I thought, yeah, she's got this weird voice that almost doesn't belong to her. It's like somebody else's voice. And yet that's
almost
just
like a little kid, like a younger kid's voice for sure.
She's
she's perfect for the Violet character because she sounds like a sort of angsty, awkward teen.
Yeah. Even now, and she's freaking me and Brian's age, which blows my mind. She was born in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
So I'm looking at the list. Like, so it's not just her narrating. Catherine Keener, Stephen King, Conan O'Brien, Jon Stewart, also doing narration in this thing.
Mm-hmm. Brad
cool.
Bird also.
Brad
Yeah,
Bird.
it's great. She has little excerpts in there where she has guest voices come in and read other spots. And so, like, if
That's
there's
so cool.
letters from historical figures that, that are men, they'll be read by, a male voice actor and stuff like that. And it really breaks it up really well. I mean, it's a good read also, just to read it on paper, but I found the audiobook particularly engaging and fun. And it was more, I don't know, it listened more like a podcast than it did a novel, so.
Interesting.
But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great and it's good. It's good fun. And yeah, there's definitely a big cast of characters in there for an audiobook.
So she was featured prominently in a 2002 documentary about the alternative rock band They Might Be Giants, entitled "Gigantic: A Tale of Two Johns." You ever see that, Brian?
I haven't seen that, but I believe it because there's she does something on one of their bonus tracks. Does she sing or something on their
It could be. I could hear
the
it.
guitar or something? I don't know. There's some Sarah Vowell. There's some other Sarah Vowell TMBG connection, and I'm looking in my library to see if I've actually got that track that
Yeah, because she's got some kind of connection. If she's super into that, if she's super all over that documentary, she must have some bigger connection than I know of. That's pretty cool. I like this thing about her personal life. It says Val is an atheist, although describes herself as culturally Christian. I think that's interesting. I think that probably applies to a lot of people who may find themselves in atheist territory these days. But they grew up in a different thing, and so they got the traditions. You put up the
you get your Christmas tree and your stocking and all that stuff, which has about as much to do with Jesus as a ball of yarn.
Yeah.
So
the Jesus ball of yarn.
Pagans anyway.
Yeah, my favorite stories in the Bible were when Jesus had that ball of yarn and did stuff with it. Well, that's cool. Anyway, great. I will check this out. For some reason, this is older. This book, right? This isn't brand new.
Yeah, no, this is not new. This has been out for quite a while. In fact, my husband has been bugging me to read this book for many years. So
something really familiar, like I've heard it, and I don't know where I've heard it because I know I don't have the book, but I've heard her say these things before. The stuff about Jack Parr and the crush on John Wilkes Booth, that stuff is. I know I've heard this. So maybe she may have done essay. That might be what I'm thinking of. She may have taken parts of her book. And done it on This American Life and like essayed it out on one of those shows or something. That might have been what happened. I don't know. Oh, she has Cherokee heritage. That's cool.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. She did a thing, I guess, where she retraced her ancestral
lineage.
steps. Yeah, from and just did a big travel like documentary style radio thing. I don't know. I think she's awesome. Something about her is just really unique and interesting. Well, there you go. Do check it out. Where'd you get this one again? I guess it's just Audible is where you got it.
Yeah, I got it from Audible, but yeah, it's available all over the place. I'll post some links in the Discord and in the Facebook group and stuff so people can find it if they're so inclined to do something other than Audible.
Very, very nice. You know what else I saw on it? It was very good. 2005, Assume the Position with Mr. Wool. It's an HBO special. She narrates it. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it. It's about the actor Robert Wool, and he's a comedian dude, and it's like a history of comedy or something. It's really interesting. Some politics.
Remember that
there.
guy? Isn't he the guy? Doesn't he play like the reporter guy in the old Batman?
The first Batman movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
Michael Keaton Batman.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the guy.
him, right?
That's totally him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still around too. He's doing stuff. Anyway, well, there you go. Hey, Amy, that was awesome. Tell people where they can find you and follow more of your cool recommendations.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Red Fraggle3 on Twitter and on TikTok and Instagram. I think is Amy Robinson VO, but I'm Slack, so I never post over there anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm in all the TMS Discord chats and the Frog Pants Facebook books and
Yep.
Facebook books of face.
Books of face. Yep, all the books of face.
Of Insta.
Yeah.
I can speak. So, yeah, all right.
Good, go catch her. And then don't forget, she'll be in Vegas. You can meet her if you're coming. Come see her.
I definitely will. Oh, I have a question for you, Brian, before Scott hangs up on me.
Yeah.
About roughly what is our head count for Vegas?
I think we're at about 50 or 60 people. And that's based on how many people live there and are staying in places that are not the plaza, as well as how many plaza rooms have been booked.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a really rough estimate.
Yeah. So why are you thinking about bringing oysters for all 60 people, or what's your plan?
Oh God, no! I'm Team Scott on this. That is like a ball of snot. I cannot do the oyster thing. I mean, more power to you. You know, I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but I don't want it.
I don't either. Don't need that yum in my life. All right, have a good one, Amy. We'll see you next time.
All right.
There we go.
Awesome. More for me. That's the way I look at it.
No, that's the right attitude to have. You get all the oysters. Congratulations.
Exactly.
All right.
I'll get the mercury poisoning. It's all mine.
Oh, were they known for that? I didn't know that. Is that a thing?
Well, I think all seafood has the potential of that.
That's true, right? Isn't it? Is it because? Why is that? Is it because we pollute the water they live in, and then we get the mercury? Is that the deal, or is it because?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like I know nothing about mercury poisoning in seafood.
I know. I know very little about it too. I know that it's the big drawback to eating lots of seafood is the potential for mercury poisoning. But
all right. Well, I am not going to eat that much. I can promise you that. You can have whatever I don't eat, Brian. It's fine.
Perfect. I'll take your share.
I'll
drink your oyster snot.
Take your booger shake and drink it. All right, here we go. Oh, look at this. Time for the news, and brought to you by
Coverville. Today we're going to be celebrating the 50th birthday of Mark Hoppus. What's his age again? 50. What's his age again? 50. Hello there. Yeah, we're going to be...
Yeah, you got more?
How many of those can I fit in here? Let's see.
Yeah, anything else you got? We can fit it in. We can get it.
So that'll be, of course, a bunch of Blink-182 covers, as well as a cover that he and Tom DeLonge did for another project that people might not know about. So Blink-182, which is, what is the source of that number? Did we ever, did they ever say what it was from?
Because I feel like we talked about it. I think it's come up on this show before, but I don't remember what it came up with or what it was.
Like the rumor is that it's a number of F-bombs in Reservoir Dogs or in Scarface or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know if there's something, but
weird. What's the blink part? The blink is who knows? Who knows what that is?
How many times? Maybe it's how many times Tony blinks in Scarface.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Say hello to because every time he shot the gun, he blinked a lot when he did that.
BioCow says there was already a band called Blink, so they just added a random number, and 182 was the random number they added.
Really?
I'm really bummed. That feels like what a waste of potential cool story behind your band name.
Well, maybe it's actually. No, it's not cooler. Ryan's right. It's a waste of a potential band name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have some sort of we chose 182 because it's the number of blah blah blahs in the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But no, it's like we liked 182, so we just this random number we picked.
We did that.
Hello there. Exactly.
All right. Let's do this here deal.
Yeah, let's
Can't believe
that's at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Good idea. Get there. All right. Grand Forks pastor baffled as to who put a giant Kmart K on his front lawn.
How does he know it's a Kmart K? Is it like the exact Kmart logo K?
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Okay.
It is. You got to see this thing. It's literally an old Kmart with
I was
the word
thinking
Kmart.
It was like they did something to the grass in the shape of a K, and he just assumed it was Kmart. No, it is the K from a Kmart sign. I mean, it's a Kmart sign with the word Mart in the K.
That guy looks like, if you took his hat off and he was bald, he looks like someone took me and you and combined us. He's got the goatee like you do, but it's the color of my beard. There's something about that guy
the
that looks
glasses like you used to wear.
It's an amalgam of us. I don't like it. It's weird.
That's really funny. Pastor Paul Knight.
Paul Knight. Front yard display outside his home. Hope Church pastor Paul Knight is a little bit unconventional, as well as involuntary. Somebody placed a massive Kmart sign on his front lawn. It's believed to be from the former Kmart building from the South Washington Street in Grand Forks, which is being redeveloped. That's true of all Kmarts, right? They're all getting done that way.
Getting wiped out.
There's one up near us that has half of it is now occupied by some kind of home goods thing. Not Home Goods, the brand, but like something like that, where it's like a lot of that sort of stuff. And then the other half is still empty and probably end up being like a Halloween store or something around Halloween. But it amazes me that huge space in this perfect place is not just scooped up by somebody already. Like, why is it not a Target or a freaking Walmart or something else? Do they not like buying those? They'd rather build their own? I don't know.
They're usually like in such, they're in really good locations, good retail locations. They're big, empty buildings that you could put a lot of stuff in. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. There's
a bad Kmart smell, like a leftover blue light special smell.
Yeah, everything smells like blue lights and poor
desperation.
customer. I don't like a Kmart. Kmarts are gross.
No.
Even as a kid, I felt like that place was something was wrong there. I don't know it's not like the Overlook Hotel. I don't mean like that, but like, like something was weird at a Kmart that I didn't feel in other stores. Like when I was growing up, we had Kmart, we had a place called Skaggs.
Oh yeah, I remember Skaggs. Yeah, those became they became something with a much more boring name, like something drug. Rexall, not Rexall drugs. That was a separate thing, but it was something like
not Shopco. What was it? You're right. They did. They got bought out or something.
They changed. I can't remember what they became.
Skaggs store. Let's see.
Yeah, see if you can find it.
Skaggs
and then of course you had Target, right?
Yeah. Here we go. Payless Drugs.
Payless Drugs. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And which is not to be confused with Payless Shoes, which you'd think that somebody would have had an issue with that with using.
You'd think.
Yeah.
That's along this. These guys started in 1915. What happened here?
Skaggs did.
Yeah, I guess they got. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so 1915. By 1926, they'd grown to 673 stores. That's a big deal.
Yeah. No kidding.
And then the Payless thing, and let's see, 32.
The great Payless crash of 32.
Yeah.
1932.
Okay, here it is. 1977, Skaggs Companies, Inc. had amicably dissolved a partnership started in 1969 with the Albertsons supermarket chain, which pioneered the first combination food, drug, and stores named Skaggs Albertsons. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was a half Albertsons, half Skaggs, or half Payless Drugs. Mm-hmm. And then they just, I guess, absorbed it.
Yeah, now everything has so they kind of did pioneer the idea of a drugstore inside of your bigger department store, but now they're all just tiny little, sections of the store.
Yeah,
which I hate going into. I hate those places. Anyway, moving on. The point is this guy got a giant K in his yard, and he doesn't know who did it. He swung by his home after church. No, after somewhere Wednesday morning. It said he swung by his home. And then, let's see, people have been coming from the south or south of his home to take selfies in front of it. I'd totally do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He has no clue who put it there, but says he suspects it was done by someone at church. Says, I don't know who to call because I don't know who put it up, says Pastor Knight. So I'm kind of making a general announcement. I don't know why he's got this voice. The people...
No, it's probably... You look at him, that's his voice.
The people responsible for this, you're welcome to remove it any time. My wife hopes it's gone by June, I think, he says. Good luck, dude. I'd keep it. I think I would love a big dumb
You'd
K.
move it out of the front yard, though, right? I mean, like you'd
probably
you'd fix it up because there's a really bad break in it. But yeah, I would keep it. I would turn it into some sort of like light up coffee table kind of thing.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah,
like you install some real lights in there. Fix the top so it's not broken, and then you sit there, you put your feet up on it, play your video games, your drink sits on it, doesn't leave a ring because it's a plastic sign.
Oh yeah, and the chat's right. My HOA would destroy me. They wouldn't let me do this.
Yeah. You could. That's why you really couldn't have it outside the house. It would have to be inside somewhere.
You would. Yeah. Other thing too is I think the reason he says June, because some people seem to wonder why he would say gone by June. I think it's because there's snow till June where he lives. He's up in the northern Washington. It's snow all the time up there.
Yeah, either that or he's just saying that hope it's gone by June.
Could be.
A little jokey joke kind of thing.
Yeah, who knows? I want to go to church with that guy. Somebody put a Applebee's sign on his front door next, or let's go full retail on this.
Sure, I like that. Yes.
It's probably some friend of his, some jokey.
Yeah, but it's funny that he immediately suspects somebody in his church.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first place he goes. I don't have any proof, but I think it's somebody in my church.
Yeah. Well, that K is worth more points if you put it up next to a double letter and then see if you can't create a double word out of it. I've been playing
Scrabble Go on the mind there.
I got a little bit of Scrabble Go on the mind. You ruined me there. Although that game runs too many ads. It pisses me off. It's way too many ads.
And the ads are so asinine. There's this one that keeps coming up that I'm sure you've seen a billion times with the 3 people in what looks like a porn airplane set.
Yep.
That are he's slamming his briefcase down, and they're doing all sorts of weird things like making the woman's head get big when she talks.
Yeah. I hate it. I don't want to see him anymore. I hate them.
No,
I'm never going to play that game. I'm never going to download whatever that is. There's the other one where it's a lady and her baby in a freezing hut or something. And you're putting clothes on her. It's like, forget it. So I did find this hack. It's not really a hack, but as soon as I submit my move and I can tell an ad starting, I flip up and close app, open app again. It doesn't run the ad. So,
that's brilliant. Well done.
And it takes less time to do that shut down, reopen than it does for an ad. Yeah. So do that.
That's
everybody.
really good. I'm totally doing that. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Good discovery.
Quit and restart that game, yo. And then the other thing is you can pay the $7.50 a month to have all that stuff removed, but I ain't doing that. I ain't subscribing. Are you kidding?
No, are you kidding me? No way. Well, I did for the 7 free days, and I'm canceling.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But guess what? Still getting ads.
Yeah.
Did the 7 day trial. Still getting ads.
Still getting ads. It bums me out because I think the app is actually like really great, like really well done, and tons of options and game modes and single player stuff and multiplayer ideas.
There's almost too much. Almost too many. Now you've unlocked Scrabble Pinkledink, where you can use letters to build a sandcastle and live in it with your family.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. Too many game modes.
Too many game modes. Hey, guys.
Larry David. Maybe you've got too much variety in your game.
Yeah.
Give me Scrabble.
Maybe a little less. I don't know why. That's not him. That's a bad voice. Here's a story. Mike Tyson, remember his deal? He was whole boxer man, been in a couple movies, all that stuff.
Been in a couple, at least one Hangover, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think 2 at least. I think.
Yeah. Because he sings One Night in Bangkok in the second one.
Oh, my Lord.
But really? I don't know if he appears in the first one.
I love that that's even a thing. Although that second one is not supposed. I've never seen any of those movies. Never seen any of all 3. Yeah, I just haven't had an opportunity. Just never got around to it.
You know what? They're worth seeing. I mean, I'd say it's a little bit like the Ocean's 11 thing. The first one's good. The third one's good. But the second one, they kind of veer off track a little bit and go to a different country, just like the Ocean's 11 series.
That's how you basically everyone says what you say, and that 2 is not great. But 1 and 3, I could make room for those.
You should at least see 1. It's kind of a, it's a good Bradley Cooper thing. It's a good. Why am I blanking on his name from The Office?
Hank Azaria. Phil Hartman.
No, from The Office.
Branch Davidian. Nope.
Wow. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Ed Helms. Ed Helms.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ed Helms.
Nard Dog.
Branch Davidian. Wow, that's a weird place to go.
That is a weird one. I don't know where that came from.
Waco, Texas.
I haven't paid attention to that story in a long time. I watched the TV movie like 4 years ago, but I don't know why that popped into my head.
Oh yeah, anyway. And Zach Galifianakis, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's some great Vegas in that movie. So maybe watch it in the next month as a little prep for our Viva TMS Vegas. Make sure you go buy your tickets now, people. Even if you've got your hotel, you think you've done everything you need to do. No, go to vivatmsvegas.com and buy your ticket swag combo so that you can actually get into the things like the ballroom board game event and the pinball competition and the other things.
All the things that are happening. Exactly. You got to go do all that. And if you're somebody at home going, well, I can't come, how can I help? You can buy a swag only package as well. And shaves a little money off too. So if you're not going, it's not as expensive, and it's not expensive anyway. It's super freaking cheap. Cheapest thing. Yeah. You know what the cheapest thing you're going to get in Vegas? This is the cheapest thing you're going to get in Vegas. So, get out there and get it done. I'm glad you brought that up. Anyway, Mike Tyson, speaking of making a little money.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Mike Tyson.
He is making pot edibles in the shape of a bitten-off ear.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like this is a little weird and that who was the guy bit the ear off of? Hold on. Holyfield. Vander Holyfield.
Yeah.
Holyfield should get some of this money. You know? It's his ear.
Yeah. Here's the thing, too. I'm looking at the photo of these. They look like dog treats.
Yeah, they don't look. I mean, I wouldn't put one of these in my mouth, I don't think.
No, that's like sugar coated. You know what they are? They're like those orange slices, candied orange slices you can get that are like jelly with that are just coated with a layer of sugar.
Yeah,
or granulated sugar.
Yeah, that's dead on what you're saying.
But the color of a dog treat, the color of a rawhide bone.
Yeah. So it's basically a full ear, but then a chunk taken out of the top part, which is where Holyfield lost part of his ear. But I'm just saying, like, Holyfield should have. Maybe
he totally
does.
should, because that's his ear being represented, and Mike Tyson, if he could do any of it, he should just be able to capitalize on the portion of the ear he ate, bit off, as opposed to the rest of the ear.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get the whole ear, dude. Gosh dang it. Anyway, this is what the company said in a tweet when they announced them. Holy ears, they're finally here. Get your Mike bites now. Representative for Tyson 2.0, that's the company that he has, did not immediately respond to a request for comment about what exactly was going on or what was being sold or where these edibles were being sold, how much they're going to cost. But Tyson products are available in certain marijuana retailers in California, Colorado, and Nevada. You could go get a Tyson.
So I could go out and buy these today.
Yeah, you could go get some ears. Do you got a dispensary near you? You probably do.
No, they don't allow them here in Arvada. Like, it's a... we've got dispensaries not too far away, but none in Arvada. Like, I'd have to go up to Broomfield or into Denver County to do it.
Gotcha. Dave, I'll bet Dave has some of these ears. Crazy neighbor Dave.
He doesn't. They're less edibles and more just want the plant. They just want the dried up plant.
Yeah, they want to put that in a bowl and fire it up.
That's right. Hey, look at you. Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm all into that culture now. I understand it. No, I don't understand any of it.
The question has come up.
Yeah.
And don't feel like you've got to commit to anything, but at one point you said, when it's legal.
Oh, I'll totally eat one in Vegas. I'll totally eat one in Vegas.
You are going to totally eat one in Vegas.
Yeah,
okay.
I totally will. I talked about this on the show. I don't know if I have. Somebody gave me. So somebody who went to California brought back some of these, gave me one.
Yeah.
And I tried it because again, they were legally procured. Am I legally eating it here? Probably not.
No, definitely
not. But anyway, these laws are dumb. But anyway, it was fine. It didn't even, it just chilled me out. So hey, Vegas, check it out. I'll put one of your ears in my, you know what? If he's got those ears there, this is what, I'll eat one of those ears in Vegas. How about that?
Oh, I might have to bring one then because it looks like it's, no, there it is. Yeah, California, Colorado, Nevada. So
yeah, it's in Nevada somewhere.
There we go.
I don't know. Yep. I assume in Vegas somewhere. But yeah,
that's definitely a ticketed event, people. We'll have to figure out, do we do it before the pinball competition to make him a little bit worse at joust? Look at the pterodactyl.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. It's
just
this damn plant. Yeah. I mean, it was only, I think, 5 milligrams, so it wasn't some mass. I'm not going to do it. If any of you are hoping I dose hard or something, don't expect that. But a little halfy, I'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, anyway, go get your ears is the point. We're going to take a break. When we come back, you know what? I may play this real quick. Sure. You know how Chick-fil-A has huge lines all the time? That's just sort of normal for them.
They do, yeah, like Cane's and In-N-Out Burger, yeah.
I'm going to play a little of this, and you can hear it. Check this out.
A Chick-fil-A restaurant in Santa Barbara may soon be declared a public nuisance because of its long drive-through lines. According to reports, the backup has blocked driveways of other businesses and even forced city buses to stall as drivers wait for the lines to clear. The city council is giving Chick-fil-A an additional 90 days to present its solutions, and the owner of the location says he is working to resolve this.
Okay. Would you blame Chick-fil-A for being popular? I feel like this is not their fault.
No, it's not their fault.
No,
yeah.
I feel like they zoned wrong then.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, what do they just say? We're cutting off the line at 5 cars and just drive around the block until it opens up or something like that.
I mean, we had a problem here with Cane's when it opened, Raising Cane's, and they had lines that wrapped around and interfered with other businesses and got in the way, and they had police there directing traffic and all of that. But I don't think they ever were like, we're going to designate you as a public nuisance, and therefore now it's Chick-fil-A. That franchisee has to figure out what the hell to do. That's lame.
Yeah. Santa Barbara, man. It's pretty. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
But, they've got all their rules. You have to have a certain kind of roof on your house. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if that's totally true, but every house has the same damn roof. Whether it's law or just wanted to fit in.
Yeah, we just want to look like we know what we're doing. Yeah, I feel
the Santa Barbara roof law.
Sure, my favorite of the local Santa Barbara laws. Well, anyway, good luck to them, and hopefully all the chicken you can eat. All right, let's move on to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy should be here, although I don't see her yet, but she knows to come in at 10, and it's 10, so she'll be here shortly. Anyway, we'll have some chat with her. Got a few things on the docket there, and then more stuff too. So hey, Brian, play a song before we can.
Okay, I'll do that. How about Yumi Zuma? We've played Yumi Zuma before, but they have a brand new album coming out this weekend. And then they've got a North American tour that begins April 7th, starting in Atlanta, Georgia. The brand new album is called Present Tense. And these guys are great. Perfect combination of electronic and analog. Just so good. And who was I thinking of this morning? A little bit of Lana Del Rey meets Haim kind of thing.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, alt pop. Yumi Zuma, and not pronounced yummy, by the way. Not pronounced Yummy Zuma.
Oh, no, it's Yumi Zuma. Got it. Okay.
Clarification. Yeah. They just released the third of their music videos of their Alex Ross Perry trilogy.
Yep.
So go check that out as well. And this album is being called, by Stereogum, it's being called the best thing they've ever released as a Stereogum album of the week. Here is the brand new single, Astral Progression.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
What about you, maggot? Huh? You got anything to say, or your veins bloated with brain eradicator too?
Definitely Dr. Superman.
You can't spell the morning stream without remonstrating. This is the morning stream.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Brian, that song once again was who?
Sure. That song is Yumi Zuma, Yumi Zouma, and the brand new song Astral Progression or Projection from their upcoming album Present Tense, which comes out this Friday, which really is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
Most of us.
Yeah,
yes.
For most of us it is tomorrow. All right, we have here, let me fix Wendy's camera. Wendy, say hi, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Do I have to bend over like this the whole time?
No, but you can. Oh, I guess Kim's shorter than you, isn't she?
How is she short? I can move this.
Oh, yeah, you can move that down. Oh, there you go. Now scooch up and you're good. And I'm going to turn the lights on so we can actually see it.
Yeah, it's really dark in here.
Hold on a second, everybody.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, Brian. How are you?
Good.
Nobody dusts.
It's good to have you slightly closer.
Yeah. I drove through Colorado and thought of you the whole time.
Oh, wow. The whole time?
The whole time.
You should have let me know.
I know. And then stopped, and you could have seen our dirty car and said hi to my grumpy kids.
Yeah. Brian could have got you some edibles. He lives in the land of...
I passed like 4 dispensaries, and everyone had a Taco Bell next to it.
Yeah. It's amazing how that works out. Yeah.
Do you think that is that mostly true that dispensaries aim to put themselves in restaurant zones and things like that?
Taco Bell moved itself there. I could tell. It was clearly.
But it's smart.
Yeah. It is smart. Yeah. Why would Taco Bell especially? Although you shouldn't be driving on those things. If you're gonna take an edible.
Right. Oh,
Not Taco Bell. I mean, Taco Bell's fine if you're driving.
I don't know. Is it?
Well, that's a debatable point.
It's a diuretic.
It is a diuretic. My sister Wendy's here, everybody. She's in town. Yeah, that's right. The town what birthed her. You're back. Well, not this particular town, but where were we born? Sandy? Salt Lake? Wherever I don't know where we were born.
I don't know.
20 minutes from here. But normally she's in Minnesota. Not now. She's here with her whole family. They went skiing yesterday. They watched the Jazz beat the freaking stupid Bulls yesterday.
By the way, so many Bulls fans there.
Yeah, that weirds me out. You were saying that last night.
Yeah.
What do you think that's about?
So I talked to the friend that got us some tickets. I talked to him about it. I said, is this normal? He goes, it's every game. There's fans from whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Don't you think it's weird?
It is a little weird. Yeah, especially them. I could understand if this was like we were playing the Nuggets and a bunch of Denver fans came out. Or I don't know if like people who are Raiders fans will probably come out of California to see the Raiders play, but then maybe we're closer to seeing Denver and the Broncos play, so we're closer, then we'll go to Vegas and watch them play. Like, that's just a weird thing to think about. Chicago, all the way out there, coming all the way here to see a stupid Jazz game.
Well, I don't think that's happening. I think they live here.
That's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. There are probably some transplants from Chicago.
I have to say, though, most of the universities here, if you walk around campuses, everyone will have sweatshirts from other schools. I feel like it is a lot of people converge here and then keep their own stuff. But you don't go to Harvard and everyone's like, I'll go to Yale shirt.
Yeah, no, you don't do that.
It's very weird. But I got Dennis Rodman sat in front of me. He had a Rodman jersey.
Shut up, really?
He sprayed his hair. It was not actually Dennis Rodman, but
it looked like him.
But there's some throwbacks. It was fun.
I'm like, why would Rodman be in Salt Lake City for anything other than beating us in the 90s? Gosh dang it.
It's the last time he was here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I already told this whole story earlier, so we don't have to reiterate it, but I had so much fun with Peter last night. We had a blast. Total blast. That kid has more energy than, I don't know, like hair, and he has a lot of hair.
He has a lot of hair, and so he took ski lessons yesterday, and we spotted him a few times. Oh, my heavens. He is never not himself.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just screaming. His jacket's open the whole time.
I'll bet.
He never zipped it up. I was like, what is wrong with you? It's like sleeting in our faces, and he doesn't care. He's just a strange human.
He would probably wear jeans in that snow if you let him.
He would.
Right? And not think a thing about it. The rest of us would be miserable, big, heavy, frozen jeans. We're uncomfortable. We have a horrible red rash going. Like, it'd be a nightmare. Not Peter. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good to roll.
As we started, the instructor's like helping out, and Peter goes, question.
He does that a lot.
Yeah, he always says question. And he goes,
like Dwight Schrute.
Yeah. Question. Do you like your job?
Yeah. He really asked him
that? Oh, that's awesome.
He's gonna.
Guy's like, yeah, I do. And he's like, well, good. All right.
I don't know what he's gonna do.
I don't either, but I think it might have the word dispensary in it.
Hopefully not Taco Bell.
When he learned you could grow things indoors a couple years ago, it was like, there's my destiny.
Oh, that's great. Because think about it, if you're a kid and you're like, plants, who cares, right?
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Yeah. Wait, you can grow something inside the house?
Yeah.
As a kid, you would lose your mind. So yeah, maybe that's his future. Who knows? By then, Minnesota, maybe even Utah will finally make it legal.
Yeah, I'm sure Minnesota will be first.
Well, they're going to be before us. I can guarantee you that. Well, anyway, it's good to have you here. You're here for a few reasons. One of the reasons that you're here is we had a big get together and kind of like a, hey, let's get together and remember Dad on the anniversary of his death. You called it his death-iversary? What'd you call it?
His death birthday.
Death birthday.
It's from, come on, help me out.
Is it a movie?
Is it the OC? What's the?
I don't know.
No.
The TV show, the OC?
It's his death birthday. You have to say it like a surfer. Come on, help me.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Do you know, Brian?
Harold and Kumar. Dude, where's my car? Dazed and Confused. Up in Smoke.
I don't remember the name.
Up in Smoke. That's a Cheech and Chong movie, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's Lonnie's death birthday. It's Lonnie, right? It's Lonnie's death birthday.
Lonnie?
Okay.
Hold on.
Someone Google that.
I'm going to look it up right now. It's Lonnie's death birthday. This is not ringing a bell to me.
No, not me either.
Oh.
Somebody found Icor found the link. It's like his death birthday.
Oh, really? We have audio? Let me see. I'll play this.
Yeah, right, bro. This is his birthday, man. Yeah, man. Like his death birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, right, bro.
Okay. This is Orange County. That's what it is.
Okay.
It is. Okay.
The movie, not
OC.
the OC, the TV show.
Yeah, sorry.
The movie with
County.
the one with Tom Hanks's kid, Colin Hanks in it. And Jack Black's in it, and it's a really good movie.
It's literally
Never
the
seen
only
it.
line I've probably ever heard, but I've been using it for the last however many years when it's someone's death birthday. It's very irreverent. I should stop. But anyway, it was Dad's death birthday. 22 years.
22 years, and so we were going to do it in 2020, but as we all know how that went that year. But it was nice. My mom was there, and John, whatever he is, what is he? What is he? He's our stepdad. I know, it's weird.
I was like, what is he?
Isn't that weird to say?
And we've never called him that. So
we've never
It's
done
always
that.
like, John, my mom's husband.
Yeah, well, they got married in his 80s.
John, the guy who married my mom. Is
Yeah.
how Scott always refers to him.
Because it doesn't sound right to say, I can't say my stepfather, John. It doesn't sound right. Because there's no other connection outside of the fact that...
He hasn't earned that title, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but also, and I don't blame him for it because he wasn't here that long. He married my mom when she was, 60?
I don't know. It's been 20 years.
So she's 81,
63?
so 62, 3, something like that. So, they're well in their adulthood. I've got 3 kids. Like, I can't call him dad. That's weird. Anyway, he was there, and then we had everybody there and a bunch of people via Zoom, although we had some weird tech issues with Zoom. That was, really funky. So we had, my brother Mark trying to tell a really heartfelt bunch of memories of him and my dad. And, in his case, he is a real stepdad to my brother, who came from a different dad. Anyway, he was getting emotional and trying to tell this whole room of us, from Phoenix. He was supposed to actually be here, but canceled last second. So he's all the way remote talking to everybody. And gosh dang it, the internet or whatever would not let him talk. And so he's just spilling his guts, and all we're getting is eep, or up, eep.
And then lots of crying.
And lots of crying.
And the only time it worked is when he was crying.
Yeah, he'd be pausing and crying, and then it would kick in again, Brian. It was bad.
And,
but
it was moving, and it was lovely and all the things. But I kept thinking, man, he has amazing hair. Did he not have amazing hair?
You don't want to, and you don't want to interrupt him and say, we're not hearing any of the things you're saying because he's just spilling his guts.
My brother's always been a tall, handsome guy and always had good hair, but he's 62 now. He's 10 years older than me.
His hair is phenomenal.
He has amazing hair for a guy his age.
It looked like someone did it right before he got on the call. It's bizarre.
Like he has people. And I know he doesn't.
He has Beyonce people.
Yeah, and I know he doesn't. He has a couple of weird dogs they keep around.
The dogs do his hair.
Yeah, but anyway, it was nice, and everybody's sharing all these feelings and thoughts. So I thought, I don't know, maybe this would be a good time because we're also looking kind of down the barrel of, well, my mom's not getting any younger. She's 82. She's had some health issues. We think she had COVID and just didn't get tested because her lungs are shot.
I'm sure of it.
But she survived it, obviously. She had that brain tumor thing removed last year. Was it last year? Yeah. 2021. Early 2021. So she's had all these issues and stuff. And she's she's there. She's good. It's just, it's impossible not to look at her now and go, oh, we need to feel ready or be ready or prepare. And it's not just... So the reason I'm bringing all this up is there's the two kinds of preparing. And I hope a lot of people out there maybe have similar situations, so this will be relatable to you. But there's the two kinds of preparing. In my dad's case, there was no preparing because he died suddenly of a heart attack, and there was no anything anybody could do. And it turned out there was a lot of stuff sort of in the air when he passed. Like he had life insurance right up till 2 months prior to that, and then let it drop, and then was going to do something else, but then didn't before his death. So there was a big hole there financially, and we were all trying to figure out what we were going to do for mom, and she wasn't working, and so on and so forth. But in this particular case, there's time to think about it and to plan, and of course John's involved, and John's very stable in that regard, the financial way. And who knows? He's 90, so he could go for her. I don't know. And he still drives, by the way, 90-year-old whipping down the freeway, getting tickets just like a little speedster.
Mad at everyone. I saw him drop a hot thing of like a couple pizzas he'd warmed up.
Yeah.
Drop them and catch them.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the world?
At 90.
90.
At 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the reflexes of a cat.
It's something. Yeah. I would have just dropped him.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were saying like while he was driving, he was catching and dropping pizzas, but
he's a delivery guy.
He's from a certain era, Brian. They love their pizza in the car, and
exactly.
But he's a cranky old cuss, but he's got he's got his faculties for the most part. His legs hurt a lot and stuff like that, but whatever, you get old and my legs hurt. So
happens.
Anyway, the point is, it feels like there's more of a chance to do it here, but the emotional preparation is still the hard thing, I think. So I don't know if we can build a topic out of that. How to be better prepared,
mentally prepared,
sure,
emotionally prepared.
And Brian, your mom's doing good, but she's not she's not going to live another 50 years, right? Neither are either of us.
Probably not. Yeah, I'm not either, probably. Yeah.
Right. So to be, prepared for this sort of thing seems important. So
my dad, sure.
Yeah. So what would you? Where would we even start with that conversation?
Well, and maybe I'm going to take it to the end and move forward.
That's fine.
So when somebody passes, and Brian, I'm forgive me for not remembering when your dad passed. Yeah. Is it pretty recent?
No, he's still with us.
My dad's still alive. My stepdad passed away.
Your stepdad. Okay.
Wow, how long has it been? 7 or 8 years, I think.
Gotcha.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That
was
it
a surprise or was it a?
Well, the illness was sudden. Like he basically got really sick suddenly, and then just kind of health deteriorated while he was in hospice care for about 2 weeks. So we had a little bit of time like, okay, this is probably the end. But the initial onset felt like it was pretty quick.
And Tina's father just passed away as well.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
You might be thinking of that.
Last December. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that might be.
And maybe you could speak to that example, or
that's a good example. Yep.
Yeah. Of this, it happens, and then you get to see family dynamics with a lighter underneath them, right? Mm-hmm. So when therapists talk about the pandemic's impact on people, we sort of see it as it was a catalyst for whatever was already there. So if your marriage was pretty strong, it got stronger. If your marriage had a crack in it, that crack spread faster than it would have otherwise. And we can see that in lots of different places. In fact, I can't remember the reference, but I think it was on Wait, Don't Tell Me. But there was like this Center for Peace and Conflict Resolution, like apparently is just on fire with conflict. Wow. Like they're thinking they ought to shut it down, like stuff like that. Like, you can kind of coast with life a little bit. Everyone kind of does their thing, and you have your coping strategies or whatever. Maybe you don't see each other that much, or you don't engage in certain topics as a family. But then when a death occurs, especially a sudden one, well, there's two versions of it. The slow burn of a slower death, and then, the sudden where it just reveals the thing.
Yeah.
And so you'll get to see various dynamics that are at play that we all don't want to talk about. Thanksgiving dinner also does this as well, where you can kind of go, oh, yeah, maybe we shouldn't all meet together. But then, decisions are made or whatever is happening. And so that's working backwards. You have this thing that will reveal itself. And when you say, hey, how do I prep for this? Sometimes it's just admitting out loud what the dynamics might be. So maybe, and Brian, I don't know about Tina's family. Does she come from a complicated place, or a couple people, lots of people?
There's definitely some disagreements as far as, like, the further out you go, there are family members that just don't talk to each other because of money disagreements, or not really even political disagreements. Tina's kind of the outlier, being the liberal in her family. Her mom is kind of moderate, but her brother is very much on the other side of things. And so there's always that little head button thing that kind of rears its ugly head whenever there's a grouping like this.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So those underlying sort of things kind of show themselves.
They do. Yeah, they get amplified.
They do. And it's so hard because it's all intertwined with grief, right? And everyone grieves really differently. So something fascinating in the family, we kind of all got up and told different stories about our dad, and it was really notable, the difference from the oldest child to me, the youngest child. So our oldest brother had, how our dad taught him his work ethic and was very strict with him, and taught him the value of $1, and it was just blah, blah, blah. And then the next brother's it was all business and some stuff he has not really worked through, as we could all tell.
No.
And
what? You know what's even better? What I liked about Matt. So my brother Matt, the show, people listen know who Matt is. He was adopted when he was 9, and he's never lost his accent. He's the most Korean of Koreans we have in the family. We have 3 Korean siblings, and
he was 11.
Because I'm sorry, I was 9. He was 11. I always mix it up. At least we think he was 11. We still don't know.
We guessed.
He has the body of a 15-year-old and the face of a 90-year-old. So I don't. But anyway, he doesn't have a lot of flowery ways to express what he's feeling. So listening to him is always interesting to me because what you're getting is very raw, translated thoughts.
Yeah.
And his definitely are things like, when my dad was struggling with his businesses and Matt was involved or investing some of his own money and trying to make it happen, that stuff didn't work out. A lot of the stuff crashed around him. It was all kind of hard to deal with. And Matt's really never let that go.
Yeah, wait, and he's talking about like the trauma. Well, he was working with him, being paid by him, and there's trauma there, and there is some resentment with how he sort of handled money. I think you and I take some of those stories of like how my dad just was really kind to people that screwed him over financially over and over, like some big names in the Salt Lake Valley. And we see it as like, what a good guy. And Matt sees it as, that was really hard and hard to see him fail. And, and so you have that, just a difference. And then as we go down the line, Scott's, were more of these sort of lovely stories and moments and things, a
lot of life lesson stuff.
Yeah.
Things for me that were like stuff he'd say when I was a teenager that I didn't take seriously until later in life. Like that's my memory of it. And then by the time we get to you.
Well, and then Misha's kind of similar.
Yeah,
and then,
Misha's a little like me.
And then me, I'm just telling funny stories.
Yeah, because they just have funny stories to tell.
And he and I shared this common bond of like messing with people.
Yeah.
And playing tricks and doing fun stuff. And so that's, and as our oldest brother's talking, Misha and I are just like, that's not the same dad we had. Yeah. And so sometimes there's, obviously we have a big span of age and circumstances, so we can watch this happen. But I think a lot of people will experience a version of losing a parent that changed over time. So maybe a younger father who was, gone all the time or more angry, a lot more testosterone when you're younger. Testosterone.
Yeah.
And then as an older dad, just sweet and nice. And I've seen this a lot with women taking care of their mothers in their older, elderly years that have a lot of wounds from how they were raised. But now there's just this sweet old lady they got to help. And that is incredibly difficult. So I think you have these underlying things, historical things. Everybody's different. I mean, it's astounding we're not all at war all the time.
Yeah.
And I think, Brian, when you mentioned some people just don't talk to each other as we expand out in a family, I think that is kind of the universal, at least American way, is to just, and we don't talk.
Yep, it's a lot easier, right? It's like, here's how we can avoid that problem.
Yeah, we used to talk about like how the Korean culture leans toward face saving. And Asian cultures generally, but this idea that we just won't talk about what's happening or whatever. The older I've gotten, I realized everyone does this to some level, right? Yeah. Some maybe more extremes in some cultures, but I feel like if anything, American culture has gotten way worse at that in recent decades, let's say, and I'm not sure why that is. I think maybe it's where we're finally getting to a place where the world is such a small place now and it's so multicultural and there's so much more than just our exceptionalism that we usually see with ourselves that directly conflicts with everything else.
Yeah.
And so when that starts to happen, you're like, oh, well, maybe we're not as cool. But then you want to defend yourself and say, no, we are as cool. When really all you have to do is say, no, we're pretty cool. We have our problems like everybody else. And interesting history. It's riddled with all sorts of falsehoods and truths and then problems and conflicts, but also some really good it's actually easy to go there if you will let yourself go there. But I think as a culture, we're really resistant.
Yes, for sure. I have conversations with people about their medical stuff, and they start with, oh my gosh, it was so terrible, and I can't believe how I was treated, and it was so expensive, and blah, blah, blah. And then I say, oh yeah, when I was in Sweden, and I just shared just kind of some examples, and they're like, yeah, but, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but the population of Sweden is much
No, that's even a decent argument. It's just like, yeah, but I want to wait in the ER for 7 hours. I'm like, didn't you just tell me you waited in the ER for 7 hours? And it cost you $5,000?
Yeah.
And then, and not, listen, you don't wait in ERs for 7 hours in Sweden. Oh, where's our Swedish listener who's going to argue with me?
Somebody always
argues with me.
Yeah, I forget who
I
it
love
is.
my Sweden. No, but just that defensiveness of like, who... And this is actually really appropriate for how families sometimes act, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't call my mom a name, but I can call her a name.
Yeah.
Like, it's proprietary a little bit. And just how how we handle our family dynamic. So, as you're listening to this, you're probably like, oh, great, Scott and Wendy's family's weird.
We're not that
but
weird.
so is yours. Every family is weird. And that's because genetics do not determine everybody's personality and trajectory in life, right? Like if it did, we'd all be a lot more similar or whatnot. But it is fascinating how that can really create drama, problems, etc. And then you add death and dying to the mix, which, I think I've asked this question on the show before. When's the last time you guys had a class on grieving?
Never.
And
Never.
who taught you how to handle sudden loss?
No one.
And
Nobody.
who said what's normal to feel and it's okay and this is how to look?
Yeah.
None.
I think nobody.
But in the Swedish healthcare system, no, I'm just kidding. Just joking. But so nobody knows what they're doing. And then you sort of have all the things that have been stewing for years and it can be very challenging. So how to prepare is, I always say the same thing. Take your garbage out first. Well, some of that is, maybe dealing with some dynamics that are currently happening wherever you are in your family. You may have a sort of young parents and think, oh, this is way off.
Sure. Yeah, you will think that. I did. I thought that was a forever ago. I thought it was forever ago when he died.
Yeah.
Or forever away. I remember the day he died, I'm like 29 or something, 30 maybe. I'd turned 30 by then. No, I hadn't quite turned 30. No, it was 2000. I was 30. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, this is young. Look at these. They're going to be around forever. They started young. We started young. I'll be around forever when my kids are older. Like that mentality definitely is there when you're younger. Yeah. And the older you get, you go, ugh. And that was like a sudden shocking moment of realization of like, oh no, not only is he not going to be here around forever, he's not going to be around here next Thursday. Yeah. And I know, I can tell you with a surety, I have still not properly dealt with Dad's death. Like the impact of its suddenness, my worldview changing as a result of it, just like a lot of naive sort of almost childlike feelings and thoughts that I had almost all the way up through 30 suddenly completely altered and changed, and I've never really addressed it. Right. And I know Matt hasn't. No. I don't think, honestly, I don't think all of us have at all. I think we were so worried about make sure mom's okay. Yeah. It's all just like emergency management mode. And I don't know if in those 22 years anybody's ever just gone, okay, so let's really unpack the impact of what this was. Yeah. And then how does it affect us moving forward? And, even just mentioning Dad passing, all I picture is my little 6-year-old Taylor daughter, who's now 27 and has a baby, as a 3-year-old. I just picture her crying because she doesn't quite know what's going on yet, but she knows enough to know that this is really sad and that Grandpa's not here anymore. Yeah. And I don't know if we've ever dealt properly with that loss with her or not, because I just don't know. I don't know. Right. And you probably need a therapist to tell you if you have. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's talk about how you do know. Because I think most people, especially when you have no concept of what grief or that process might look like, are just like, well, I've stopped crying. So there we go.
It must be done.
Yeah, must be done.
Two stages of grief, crying and not crying.
Cry and then I'm not, and then I'm moving on. Or there's the I never cried, something wrong with me stage. I think a lot of people can go through that, especially when things are complicated or you just don't know why you're not crying. Like you just aren't feeling it. So if you sat down with the therapist and said, okay, here's what happened, and you have never had an emotion about it, it's your parent or your loved one, that in theory you should have some kind of response. Sure. Then you start to peel back layers of like, all right, let's dissect your relationship with that person and try to understand maybe where you got there. If someone has been caring for someone, slowly passing for a year and a half, and they feel relief at the end. They feel terrible that they feel relief, but of course they feel relief. Of course. Kind of our systems aren't built for long-term care. Right? There is no evolution training that any of us have that has a doctor with 1 million degrees making sure you live longer. Like that's not, it's not built into how we grieve correctly. We don't. Right. Anyway, I'm not that humans have ever, we're just here to reproduce and survive, not cry and feel better about ourselves. Like that's not built into the system. So, hacking that is part of what I guess you do. So anyway, meeting with a therapist, finding out, and they would probably say, wow, you're doing probably better than you think. They also may say, oh, you are maybe needing some more help and processing. So everyone's going to be sort of at different places. But I do think, if you are having the thought, like, I don't know if I ever did the thing, like Scott just said, you should try it out. Yeah. Just go talk to someone specializing in grief. Maybe you head over to some websites that are just talking about grief and see if you're sort of feeling stuck, or you're feeling like it's impacted your life in some way. I've always thought about it this way, and I don't know if it's correct, but when you lose a parent, you're orphaned.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're 50 or 70, you're still orphaned. And that's sort of like the person older than you that's supposed to keep you safe, even if they're 100 and they're not keeping you safe for the last 30 years or whatever, that loss is really profound. And so, not everyone's going to need therapy about it, but maybe there is, just some acknowledgement, just what a big deal it is.
Well, I thought the thing we did the other night was extremely cathartic.
Yeah.
For I can't speak for everybody, but it definitely was for me. And I realized after we were done that we haven't done that.
No.
Mm-mm. Like, we didn't even do that in the immediate aftermath of it. There was, a service and the funeral and all that. And you have
like
your
blur, right?
Yeah, it's just a blur. It's mostly just here's this side of Dad's family we haven't seen for 20 years. They've all been in California. I guess we're going to have the awkward meeting of them. And who are they? And it's nice to catch up. And you're not really processing. You just sort of, I don't know, you're weird and numb. It sucks.
And you're dealing with people who are terrible at expressing their condolences.
Yeah.
So I had some funny stories. But then, like all that happens. And I think a lot of people now are doing wakes later. Yeah. Like they're giving themselves some time. And maybe COVID has spread that out a bit, because like a celebration of somebody's life couldn't happen in the way it might have, right?
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, her dad died about 2 years ago. I think it was yesterday, in a kind of a freak car accident, a year after her mom died of cancer. So it was a rough situation. And that was right as COVID was starting. So the funeral was her and her husband and her sister. I mean, there's lots of kids and lots of family, and they only let 6 people into the thing. And so the rest, it was televised. But there's some stunted grieving that occurred when you are alone. Even though you're grieving in this collective, electronically, it isn't the same. So I think there's a common challenge that's happened the last couple of years of grieving differently and maybe being more stuck. But so these wakes or a memory or commemoration later or something like we just did, I think is really valuable and important.
It was. I was actually skeptical about it because I just thought, as usual, it's a little chaotic. There are little kids everywhere.
Oh my gosh, they're so loud.
But you realize that part of that chaos, and I think I may have said it, someone said it there, my dad loved that chaos. He loved kids, and he loved the grandkids, and then seeing them have kids would have just been the wonder of his life. He would have loved it. Mm-hmm. So even hearing all that, it didn't bother me, because I'm thinking, no, this is what he'd want.
Right.
And also, he would want it to be flubbed up a little. He'd want the internet to be broken. He would want to
know what the internet was.
He would. He probably would. He wasn't super down with the internet when he was here, but or he didn't understand it. But yeah, like I kind of went in thinking this is going to be a bit of a cluster, but I'm excited. My sister's in town. I'm excited to see everybody. At the time, we thought Mark was coming, so I was excited to see Mark. All that. And then it turned into this thing that was just really, I don't know. I don't know what the word for it is. Cathartic's the best word I have.
Cathartic. It's really sweet. My kids, both my boys came up afterwards. Pete, I don't know. He's dancing on the roof somewhere. I don't know. But, what Pete said was, I don't even know the guy. That's weird that we were talking about him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And he is the most like him.
It's a lot like him.
Yeah. The way his brain works.
Yeah. Very, very
but
much.
He's in a different era. Thank goodness, man.
Yeah.
Whew.
You don't want to grow up. My dad grew up if you're a little quirky.
And left-handed and different.
All that stuff. Van's left-handed too. They really got discriminated against, right? That left-hand thing is no joke.
He got beat.
Yeah.
Whipped by teachers if he used it.
Yeah.
So, okay, but then my other 2 boys came and sat by me.
Wait, Brian, you're left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Did you know you would have been beat in the 30s?
Tina's
50s,
dad
50s?
was. Like that was, and he was worried about that with Tina when she started going to school. He went to the school on her first day and said, "Yeah, my daughter's left-handed. Don't hit her with the ruler. Don't try and change her. Don't." And they're like, "We don't do that anymore.
But I would
know
have
what you're
checked
talking
too,
about.
man.
Yeah.
That's so terrible.
That's intense.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. I didn't mean to.
My left-handed son came and sat down and talked to me, and I'm not a big crier, so it's like once a year at a movie maybe, and they're like, so they were like watching me like, what? Mom is standing there publicly crying. So they were very cute, but they were just like, it was so fun for them to hear those stories because they're way past.
Yeah, they don't know.
Not knowing him. Yeah. You have 2 of your 3 kids really have memories. Even Carter's are pretty.
Carter's are
mild,
cloudy. Nick has no memory. He was only 2 months old or a month old, I think.
Yeah.
And Taylor was, like I said, 6. So they were.
So it was fun to have them hear that. And I tried to put myself in their shoes, like sitting around, listening to stories about my grandpa that I never met. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
This is Uncle Tubby, by the way. Everyone talked about him constantly.
Yeah.
Never met that dude.
Yeah.
Don't know a thing about him.
Just pictures of him.
There's pictures of this guy named Tubby. He looks like something out of a 1940s like noir film.
Yeah.
What was his real name? Because it wasn't Tubby.
I don't know. Do I know that? I don't think I know that. Yeah, he must have had. Brian, you're right. There's no way it was
Tupperware. I don't know.
Yeah, it was Tupperware. Because he always burped and claimed it made him fresh. No, I don't know.
Tubster.
Tubston McTubberson. We have no idea. Yeah, but anyway, everyone talked about him, or even like Aunt Hilda, who I barely remember. And Aunt Hidda. Yeah, but it was Hilda was her real name.
Yeah.
But we called her Hidda. And Mark knew her real well. Yeah. I barely knew her, just tiny kid, kind of vague memories of this really old person in a chair. That's all I remember. Yeah. But people just fawn over her and talk about her like she's this amazing person. She was born in the 1800s and saw all this, stuff in her life and all of that. That must have been similar for the boys.
Yeah.
Because what are they looking at? This is another person they don't know, really.
Yeah. Wearing dumb glasses and weird jackets.
So that was the other problem I had when Dad died. I never really dealt with this very well, I don't think. And maybe it's a little selfish, but I just really wanted a grandfather figure for my kids.
Right.
I wanted that so bad. And it's there with Kim's side.
Yeah.
But I wanted this. Dad was awesome with our kids. He was amazing with our children. And no offense to my mom, he was better with my kids than my mom was. I love my mom, but he just was. And so him leaving, going at that time was like, no, wait a minute. One's a month old. I got this too. And then I look at Wendy's family, like, she's just getting started over here. She doesn't have anything yet. Like, this is not fair. Yeah. It felt really unfair.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other stage of this, right?
Totally. And that's a big piece people deal with because when is it fair? Can you name the date when it would be fair? Yeah, I'm trying to think.
When is death fair?
And maybe it's, maybe in very old age, very, like, lots of things were resolved or done, or, you can kind of, I just think this is why people have this inclination toward bucket lists, or like they, we have an impulse to not have this unfairness. So we all went to lunch, all the ladies, and we indoctrinated my daughter into the ladies' lunch and what that entails.
So you're now all lunch ladies.
We're all lunch ladies.
Okay.
And I said, all right, this is what happens. Old ladies sit around and talk about horrible things that have happened to other people.
Yeah.
And part of it is this hashing the unfairness of like an untimely death or some young person with this, or, some horrible accident or something, because it's our way of managing a thing we're powerless to manage, even though it's clearly not managing anything.
Right.
But I think there's a bit of that. It's just that lack of fairness or plan, and so when you say, hey, how do we plan for this? It's a little bit like, yeah, you can't really plan, but can you get your acts together? Can you resolve differences? I think, having yourself, I have a great example. Did you see, we watched a lot of the Olympics. I think when you live in a tundra, you're like, let's see what we can do in a tundra.
Yeah.
Let's look at our options.
Maybe the half pipe, everybody. Let's do that. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun. But there was a young guy who was doing the half pipe and snowboarding, I believe, or it might have been skiing. I can't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, he's from Utah, was training here, got a really bad car accident. They showed a skeleton with like its head cracked in the ways his was. So they kind of gave you a representation of like how damaged this kid. He fell asleep at the wheel, got crushed by some truck or something. Anyway, he shared this story. This is, on the little blurbs in between. And I just thoroughly enjoyed watching him compete, because when he would finish, he'd do his thing. you could just see him like, I shouldn't even be alive, right? Like just this absolute, I'm only doing this to have a blast. I'm just thrilled to be a human.
Oh, Colby Stevenson, is that him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
And every time he would come and, they do the scores and the rest are kind of like, I mean, they're 19-year-olds, all of them are 15 or something. And they're just like, I better win. I got to do this. Or, they're in a different brain state. His was just one of abject appreciation to be there. Yeah. And I thought, oh man, sometimes it takes nearly dying or someone dying or whatever it is to sort of wake you up to, the appreciation of what you do have. And I think that's a tricky thing because we don't stay in that brain state. That's not how we're built.
Right.
However, he's seeming to maintain it.
Yeah, he got the silver for hell's sake.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done.
And, most silver medalists are the least happy. But in his case, he's like, I dead or silver, though I'll take silver.
Yeah, he's bucking that trend. So I know for a fact, I'm not going to name any names or anything weird, but there's somebody in our chat room who has had it from the other direction, loss of a child early. And you know who it is, but she lost her daughter who was already dealing with some special needs stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's a case of knowing it's coming eventually, right? Like even Kim with her brothers who both suffered fetal alcohol syndrome as infants, are on a million drugs just to keep them alive. And they've miraculously somehow made it to 35 or whatever they are now. And they weren't supposed to be past 20 or something. So sometimes you get more time than you think, but still you kind of know that clock is ticking. Yeah. That's different, right? Or is it?
Well, different in a lot of ways, but there's some similarities in that, loss is relative to who you're losing.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we get in trouble as humans when we try to empathize with one another or send condolences. Is we take our own experience and then we come at that feeling with the other person. And so you can't imagine losing a child. I mean, if you really stop, you can't imagine, and you can take the time, and you will be a puddle on the floor.
Yeah.
And so to go at somebody who has lost a child without doing any work to really understand that, you'd say nothing. You would hug them, maybe bring a casserole. You'd also be a puddle. Like you wouldn't, but our front of our brains are like, yeah, say the right thing. Make sure you say the right thing. Don't say the wrong thing. Say the right thing. Or, hey, I have an obligation to this person. So you're going to go at him and say, just like, I'm so sorry. Or I know how you feel. No, you don't. Right. So it's really hard to be the griever when people around you are misfiring because it happens. But it comes from the same place. Even those who have been through profound loss know they're not saying the right thing to other people too. Like it's a pretty universal experience of I'm going to say what I hope to say, and then it comes out across however.
I realize this is where Kim gets her reactions that she has to things like this. Like I was thinking about this the other day. She's not the person that awkwardly says sorry for your loss or any of these tripe things that we try to. It's all good intention, but it's all like rote and
It's like I don't know what to say, so I'm going to say this.
Yeah, like I was talking to a Marine friend the other day. He's like, I hate it when people say thanks for your service. I hate it, and I mean we had a whole conversation as to why. We don't have to get into it here, but. It's just so standard.
Yeah.
And it gives everybody the standard thing to say. What was my point? My point
Kim
was
gives food.
Kim will do the opposite. She'll go, and I'm not just trying to pump, she hates when I do this, but she'll go, someone died? And it's rubber to the road. It's like, I'm taking food, I'm calling them, these flowers are on their way. Like there's no like she does not feel comfortable just saying words. Her thing's all action.
Yeah.
And I admire that, but I also think there's probably I don't know, maybe there's no way to say the right thing. Is there ever a way to have the right words? Probably not. What are the words going to be?
I mean, because someone may really just want to hear, I'm sorry for your loss, and you won't say it because you think it's the wrong thing to say. I don't know. You can't win.
Good point.
But I do think there's do your thing. It happens. But also, like, you can't be alone. This is why often, when someone has a loved one die by suicide, really the only people that they can talk to and find solace and progress and have comfort is with others who've experienced it. It's just not something, and I think the loss of a child probably goes into that category too. Mm-hmm. And the level of tragic, right? That it does matter. The more horrible an accident versus, falling asleep as a 80-year-old, we all react differently to that, right? I think some of it is just our own projection and human fear of different things, but also just, hoping that's how we go. Not like the people screaming in your car.
Yeah, no kidding. So Cleo in the chat says one thing that makes a giant difference is follow-up. Not just saying you're sorry, really sorry for your loss is one thing.
Yeah.
But showing that is that 2 weeks later you check in and go, "How you doing? Are you doing all right?
Yeah.
You staying hanging in there?" Totally agree with that.
Versus the checked box of I've said the thing.
Yeah, the check box thing kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Kind of universally. Like, what's the point of if you're not? That means you're not that sorry.
Right.
It means you're just sort of.
Well, it means you're, okay, so I should not be defending the bad grievers, or the people trying to support, is that checkbox, what does that feel like for the person?
Yeah.
It's like, I got to say something, I got to do something, I do the thing, and they probably need to be left alone. You rationalize your choices as the right thing to do, usually, right? But when you've been through something, the follow-up matters. Like you've just experienced it, so you just have a different take. And I think, so checking in with people. I mean, I feel like one of the most powerful things to do is just ask, and that is hard, right? Because who knows? My favorite thing to do, I think I've talked about this on the show, but when someone I haven't seen in a long time, I run into and they've gotten divorced, they feel like they need to tell me that they're divorced, and so then I have my patent answer, which is. Condolences or congratulations? And then they'll tell me. And they'll say, congratulations. And then I cheer and we're like, yay. Oh, I'm so glad you're free. Or they'll say condolences. And then I know. And it's amazing how relieved they are. They are relieved, right? Now, obviously, nothing is the pat answer you can do forever. There's no formula for everything. But part of that is just like, meeting someone where they're actually at and genuinely caring. Really go a long way. But if you're in any of these categories of losing someone suddenly, losing someone by, a difficult traumatic means, or a child, or, anyone you're really close to, I think it takes people a long time to realize they probably need some help with it. That they don't have to do it alone. They are not alone. I mean, I remember when Dad died, just like watching people around me going, how are you just moving on?
Yeah.
You're just driving around like nothing happened. And I can only assume people who have lost their loved ones to COVID are just on fire, furious about.
Yeah. Do you think like a decade, 2 decades from now, we're looking at like some of the worst mental health need? Everyone should get therapy. What are we doing? Kind of problems.
Yeah, we don't have enough therapists. It's not going to go.
That's how it feels.
It does. It does, because some of it, it's current stuntedness, or it's, in embryo for a lot of these kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's not great. And I do think, those who are actively grieving the loss of loved ones. I mean, I forgot the statistic in the United States alone. It's something like 120,000 kids have been orphaned. And orphaned for realsies, not a 70-year-old losing their 90-year-old mom.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And it's, so that sort of collective grief, we've never been great at. We're really great at collective. We're the winner.
If anyone sends me one of these toughen up buttercup emails, I'm going to freaking...
Oh, God.
I get these sometimes.
You do?
Oh, yeah. Just make your
seriously?
kids... Just raise resilient kids. They'll be fine. Hello?
Well, how do you do that?
I don't know. Why do so many adults need therapy now? How resilient is it? Give me a break.
Yeah.
I know.
Jeez.
I don't want to project what could happen, because maybe nobody will, but every time we have one of these things, I always get someone who's like, you just slap a little dirt on it and get going.
Right.
I always get one of those.
Right.
That's fine, though. They exist.
Good for you. I'm glad it works. I mean, just a little dirt. That's amazing.
Little dirt. Who knew that a little dirt would go so far as to solve all of your mental issues?
Yeah, it's great.
Well, all right. This has been fascinating, as always. I hope this helps a lot of people. I noticed a bunch of people in the chat are either dealing with some of this in their own lives or adjacent to them, and made a lot of people think. And that's what we're looking for.
Or they just want to be prepared, yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that helps. Wendy, is there anything else going on you want to talk about? I mean, you're physically here, so I feel like we should say, I don't know, we should give you a bigger platform today.
Yeah, you should give me a better
You
chair.
You showed up.
Yeah, you showed up.
came across
You
the
came
country. At
all
least
the
we
way
could
here
do.
from the Midwest.
The way.
Yeah.
I saw Colorado. I saw.
Did you see Kansas?
No.
That's because it's
Nebraska.
boring.
My
Nebraska.
gosh, people.
Yeah, it's big, empty, nothing.
It's so flat.
Yeah.
But I love their tagline. Nebraska. No, is it Nebraska? Yeah, Nebraska.
And it's not for
everyone. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's really their tagline?
Yeah, and it's
That's really
accurate.
their tagline.
That's amazing.
It's pretty great.
Hold on, what's
They have great
Minnesota's?
commercials that go along with that.
Are there? I'd love to hear
I
them.
will pimp something that is so unrelated to me or anyone I know.
All right.
It's just a thing I saw. Okay, so we stopped in Capitol Reef.
Oh, yeah.
And Capitol Reef, for those who've never been to Utah, is a perfect example of if this were anywhere else in the world, it would be the highlight of that place because it is so beautiful.
It's another planet.
But
It's crazy.
here,
Yeah.
where you have all the things, all the natural beauty, people are like, yeah, I've never been there.
Yeah.
Have you been there, Scott?
I've been there, but it was forever ago.
And you don't remember.
I don't. I wish I did. I mix it all in. I got Moab, Goblin Valley, all that stuff fits in the same space.
Totally. Well, Goblin Valley's on its way. So we stopped
Yeah.
in Goblin Valley. We'd been there. We were there, let's see, 12 years ago. So we did some before and after pictures. So we have like Abe standing on one of the goblins with his little Cars hat, little kid, and then we had him recreate it, and he's 6'3" now. He's doing the same face. It's pretty funny.
That's pretty great.
So we had a good time. Anyway, so we were in Capitol Reef having a great time, and we stayed at this cute little house, and there was a book on the shelf, and it's called Subpar Parks by Amber Scher, and it's America's most extraordinary national parks and their least impressive visitors. And so she took 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
And can the camera see this if I flip it?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me turn to you. Okay, go ahead.
And here's the one for Capitol Reef, if you can see that.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Somewhat bland.
So what she did was she does that beautiful art that you're kind of used to seeing the national parks in,
Yeah.
and then just put these reviews. My favorite was Yosemite. It's like the trees obscure the view and there's way too many gray rocks.
People really do that?
And then Minnesota has one national park called Voyagers. And this is my, what's wrong with folks? Anyway, the review said, there was nobody here. Isn't that the dream?
That's the idea.
Oh my gosh.
This is why you go.
It's very funny. Anyway, so it's great art with hilarious taglines from the least impressed visitors. And then she goes through and talks about how actually amazing these things are.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty funny.
It's really, that place is beautiful. You're
It is
making me want
beautiful.
to go.
Now
Yeah.
you need to look up Fern's Nipple because I think that would be the highlight of your trip.
Hold on. Fern's Nipple.
Yeah, that's you barely had the words out, and he was already in Google.
Hiking Fern's Nipple, Capitol Reef, road trip. So did you guys do this? Did you hike
We
this?
were across from it and got some pretty great pictures. You know how you can just pinch.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It was beautiful. I wish I had the video to share with you, but
Oh, it looks like a big nipple.
it does, yeah.
Okay.
I just want to know who Fern is.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it a lady? Was somebody's lady friend or?
I don't know, but it's pretty funny.
Oh my
You know,
gosh!
that looks just like Fern's nipple.
I think we just call it that, Bill. Here it is. Look, there's a big giant nipple. Everybody,
Isn't that funny?
Oh my gosh!
Okay, so there's this huge hike we went on, and at the top you could see Fern's Nipple pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's also, the arches. There was an arch that you had to look down at, so it was pretty freaky. So we're all sitting there observing it. It's kind of freaky. If you're scared of heights, I don't think you'd love it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple people we don't know sitting near us, and Abe goes and walks across the
This is Abe.
the top of the arch. Okay.
He'll do that.
So
yeah.
it looks from our vantage point like he's on a needle's edge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary to watch him do this.
Yeah.
And then he's got, his 16-year-old dopey self and his hooded sweatshirt, and he's just kind of walking, and then all of a sudden he jumps off the edge.
Oh my gosh!
And we all scream.
Because you all thought he was jumping off the edge.
Yes, except I know my child, so
Yeah.
I didn't really think it. And then he waits a second, then he pops up.
Yeah.
And there was another 10-foot ledge you can't see from our vantage point. So it was quite the feat. So we made him do it again.
Yeah, but
Do it again. Do it again.
But didn't some stand by some walkers by see this or something?
Oh,
and
all
they
of
freaked
us
out?
thought for sure this kid's dead now. And
that's
Adam actually had to walk away because he has a good imagination. I clearly don't because I'm like, that was great. Do it again.
Yeah, that sounds like you. This is a trick Wendy would have pulled with my dad.
Totally.
One of the stories Wendy told. By the way, that story is different than I remember. But Wendy went on it. We thought it was a date, wasn't it? A date? Or was this two friends of yours?
Oh yeah, Mom told it. That's why.
Oh, Mom told it wrong. Wendy was on a date. Mom's 82. She doesn't remember stuff.
I know. Bless her heart.
She's She's on this date, but I don't know if I told you the story or if we've ever talked about it.
How about I tell it so it's accurate? Because I will tell you what, if I hear it wrong one more time.
Yeah, I don't want to tell it wrong. You do it.
Okay, it's fast. Okay, so in high school, we were tricksters a little bit.
Yeah.
We should have been studying, but instead we planned a fake kidnapping.
Yep.
So Dad had this little sports coupe thing. I forgot what it was. Anyway, and we're like, "Ooh, can we use that?" Well, what it was is we had 3 dates, three of us, and our dates were all in my friend's big old, I don't know, it's like a Beamer, this big old luxury sedan.
Yeah.
Going to the dance,
Somebody's dad's car.
We get a phone call like, you got to go deliver a package. It was her dad. So we had our parents in on this.
Mm-hmm.
Parents do anything for their youngest children, I'm telling you right
They
now.
do. Yep.
Anyway,
They
yeah.
didn't. I
So
can tell you that.
Calls. We're like, okay, we got to meet someone at the base of the canyon. So we go to this parking lot. It's dark. It's like 10 p.m. We're in our dresses. We're still like in a kind of fancy dress situation.
Yeah.
And my friend Robin asked me to deliver this package to this guy in a trench coat over by a red sports car, which was Dad.
Okay.
And
Robin was in on this?
Yeah.
Okay,
of course. All the girls were. And he has got a goatee.
Yeah.
Right? He looked bigger and badder than he is.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I walk over in my little dumb dress and I hand him this. We put powdered sugar and wrapped it in brown paper. I mean, it was
look
a movie,
like cocaine.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And he acted like he opened it, and then he threw it on the ground, and then he had the trunk open. And so I jump in the trunk. He kind of lifts me, but it looks like he throws me into the trunk.
Slams you into the trunk, yeah.
And he had the seats down, so I just like pop out in the car. Anyway, we peel out, and our dates are losing their minds because they're thinking their date just got kidnapped. Anyway, and then it extends to another location, and I'm in the trunk, fake tied up, really poorly. It's very obvious I was not tied up. Yeah. And my Dad was gone at that point, and so they get me out of the car, and I come limping back into the car, and it's so stupid.
That's awesome.
It's so stupid.
I love it. I feel like you can't do that today.
Oh, no way. First of all,
Right?
I don't think of how parents behave.
I know. Yeah, they'd lose their
First
minds.
of all, cool parents, and then other parents are like, whatever you're doing, I don't care.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Anyway, so it was really stupid and funny. And the best part was 15 years later, I'm talking to somebody who went to the University of Utah, and she goes, hey, have I ever told you this really crazy story? I dated this guy who went at the U, and one time he drove me around Salt Lake and told me about the night his date got kidnapped.
Oh, my God.
I was like,
wait a minute. Did the boys ever know? Did they ever?
Oh, yeah. We told them
Okay,
eventually.
they knew.
And then we went to a big party where lots of people were, and I never saw them again. They walked around and because that is a post-traumatic response.
Oh, they were mad at you.
Not mad, just you got to talk that through 84 times.
Yeah.
You know? And then Mom told this story the next day. So these guys were like kind of cheerleader, young, or like small dudes. We did not pick big dudes for this event because we thought they could actually hurt someone.
Yeah, you don't want Dad ended up in the
I
hospital.
know, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, they were very funny. One was like a total jokester and real tubby. He
Yeah.
was Uncle Tubby. Really funny guy. And the other two were a little, like I could beat both of them up. Anyway, they were lovely people and they were a lot of fun. But they came to our house the next day with their friend who was the center on the football team.
Oh.
Just because they needed to meet Dad. And then they, of course, met Dad and had a great laugh. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that story.
That's the 90s, baby. If you
Yeah.
think the 90s was awesome, it was.
90s, 80s, and 90s, things we did things differently. Okay, you kids out there, born millennial types.
Sorry.
It's just Gen X.
Sorry that our forefathers, including us, have ruined everything for you.
Yeah, we've screwed it up, but you'll do. You got this. We believe in you, truly.
We do.
Yeah,
Get some therapy.
help us retire. All right. Hey, I guess we're done. Wendy, realsteps.org. People should go there, sign up, check it out, read it, find out all about it. New wave already happening, right? It's happening now.
It's happening right now.
Okay. So a lot of people already probably been notified if they're in, right?
They've been doing it for 3 weeks.
They've been doing it for 3 weeks. They are fully aware of what's
They are
going on.
fully aware. These are just for new people to get information, and feel free to ask questions. We'd love you to join us. We'll do another one in the fall. We've really we're sticking to spring and fall and making them longer. So anyway, you got time. It'll be great.
You know what I forgot to do while you were here is this.
Everyone knows it's
Better late than never.
Yes.
Right?
There we go.
All
Can't
right.
help people know, oh, this is the Wendy segment. Oh, good.
I wondered who this was this whole time.
Now do me a technical favor. When you go upstairs,
Yeah.
will you turn that light off on your way out? And then I'll come see you in a minute after we're done.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Wendy,
Okay.
for being here. It was great having you.
Bye, everybody.
See you. Bye later. All right. There she goes. There she goes again. That's that song I'm thinking of.
She goes again.
All right. Let's see what we got left here. Really enjoyed that discussion.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was great. Where are we now? Oh, I guess we're done. This is it. Okay, tomorrow, Playdate. Playdate at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, not the normal 2 o'clock, okay? Because Brian's going to go early, so he's got lots of room for his other show. It's all going to be great, okay? I still don't know what we're playing. Should we just decide now? What do you want to do?
Let's say Among Us. Because we did Jackbox and What the Dub last time. Let's just say, Claire, get off our backs. We'll play Among Us.
Yeah. Put your caps key away.
Let's pretend it's a St. Patrick's Day present for you.
That's right. I know Talia will be happy. There's a lot of people who love
Talia, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be great, okay? So we're all going to get together tomorrow, 1 p.m., play a little bit, have some fun, hang out with each other. This weekend, Film Sack, we're doing watch along of a Knight Rider episode.
Yeah.
To prepare for some people being gone and stuff. But yep, you can hear me talk way too much about how everything's filled in Utah. You can get all sick of that. What else? That's it. Patreon.com/TMS is the place to support the show. Please do so because we need it. Patreon.com/TMS is the place to go and support the show. Yeah. It's always good to repeat myself. The morning stream at gmail.com is our email address. You can find us on Twitter, Scott Johnson, Coverville, and Morning Stream. And while you're at it, we do have a pretty active Reddit page. Lots of folks over there at frogpants.reddit.com. So go check that out.
I had lunch with the Mayus this last weekend, and we talked about, because I think he initially set up both of our Reddit pages.
I believe so, yeah. Did a great job. Still has the keys to the car, as it were.
He does, yeah. And he's dangling them and saying, yoink. And
how are they doing? I haven't seen them in so long. I'm sure they're doing great.
They're doing really, really well. Yeah.
They got little ones now, a couple of them, right?
2 little ones. One that's less little, like almost as tall as Josh.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And that's Gabe. And then a much younger one. But they're just the cutest kids. They didn't bring them to lunch, but we got to see photos and hear all about them.
Oh, of course.
We wiped out a boat full of sushi together.
Good. That is the job of sushi lovers everywhere. Wipe out that boat.
Yep.
And eat that booger slide.
Sink that boat.
Sink that sushi boat.
No oysters on this boat.
Oh, phew, good. You didn't ruin that friendship then. Just kidding.
Oysters and sushi. Oysters aren't sushi.
Yeah, but they don't. How would they go to? Do you think they go together at all? Like, would you want to have a meal that featured both sushi and oysters?
I would absolutely eat a meal that included both oysters and sushi. But you usually can't get oysters. Well, can you?
I don't know.
Can you get oysters at a sushi restaurant? I don't know if you can. I've never tried because I always think of them as like, nope, you go to a raw bar for oysters, clams, mussels, crab, that sort of thing. Yeah. And then you go to a sushi bar for sushi, and the two, just for whatever reason, I separate.
I think you're right. I think there are places that try to do everything for everyone, but you don't want those oysters.
You probably don't want those oysters.
Yeah, don't eat those oysters. But do listen to the song Brian's about to play because it's going to be great, and we're all going to dance and smile and love each other.
It is going to be great. Oh, this is we haven't played Pomplamoose on this show in a long time. Birch, a.k.a. The Lost Phantom, when he's here in chat, says, "Hey, Scott and Brian, today is my 22nd birthday, and I thought it was finally time to get a song request in. I've been an avid listener to pretty much all of the Frog Pants shows since back when I was still in high school in 2015, and this is the first time I've ever written into any of them. I appreciate all you guys do, especially with the consistency of TMS. They make the bad days less bad and the good days even better. My requested song is a cover of one of my favorite songs, Once in a Lifetime, the Talking Heads song. Pomplamoose adds a very nice extra layer of insanity to an already insane-sounding song. Thanks, you guys. Signed, Birch."
Nice.
So true.
Cool name, by the way. Birch is a cool name.
Totally. Yeah. Hey, Birch, how you doing, man? Yeah, totally.
Yo, cool. Birch. Oh, that's cool.
Birch.
Yeah.
Yo, Birch. Here's what's interesting about this cover. It's one of the rare Pomplamoose songs, at least in my knowledge, that not only features Natalie Dawn's vocals, she's in every single one of them, but also includes Jack Conte's vocals, and you usually don't hear him. He's doing all the instrumentation, and he's busy, co-founding Patreon and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's busy producing and making a giant company out of nothing. So
and doing like 3 other bands, Scary Pockets and all these other things. Like he's all over the damn place. Here are Pomplamoose and their cover of the Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime.
Sounds good. We'll be back, like we said, for the Playdate this weekend. Back Monday with regular shows and lots of other stuff. So check the calendar. It's all good. And we'll see you then. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Hold your water, Augie.
Hold your water.
Hold your water.